Hello my loves, welcome to my channel, or welcome to my channel. My name's Ruby, if you don't know who I am, and today I'm going to be filming a Year 12 Q&A study Q&A. Basically, I asked you guys questions on my Instagram stories, so I'm going to be answering them. So basically the reason why I'm doing this video is because I document like a majority of Year 12 on TikTok, and I ended up with a pretty good Atar, so you guys think I'm qualified to give you Year 12 advice. So here I am giving you Year 12 advice, so hope you enjoy. Hope I live up to the expectations you guys have of me. I am not going to be able to answer all these questions, literally, like, there's so many questions. So the first question is, what's the most important thing to remember throughout the year as a Year 12? The most important thing to remember throughout the year as Year 12 is that it's really overrated. I was out the other day with some girls, and one of the girls got a DM and someone was like, what's it like eating dinner with someone that got a 96 Atar? And we were like, what the fuck? And like, it's so weird because it's so overrated. Like, I literally forget all the time. Like, I don't even think about it. Like, I work so hard for literally like nothing. Like, it does not matter. It feels like it does, and I completely understand because some people have like a dream course they want to get into, but I'm just not like that. So for me, like, I think and I'm like, it really did not matter at all. I forget about my Atar all the time. Kind of a dumb piece of advice, but the most important thing to remember is that it doesn't matter how good or how bad you do. You live in Australia, first of all. Where there's a will, there's a way to get what you want. And secondly, like, it's not that big of a deal. It's really not. Did you have days where you felt like you knew nothing? Literally every day. I literally knew nothing. Sometimes what's in here, you just can't bring out here. Don't underestimate yourself. How to maintain consistency without burning out. It's been 2 days and I'm exhausted. You just gotta take a break sometimes. And you gotta do bit by bit. You don't sit down for 8 hours and write English essays because you will want to die. What I would do just to like spice it up, you know, like I'd come home, I'd do a bit of English, like I'd write one English essay, or I'd write down some English quotes, and then I'd eat some food, and then I would make a bio poster, and then I would do some multiple choice maths. Like, I really mixed it up a lot. Like, I just did bits and pieces, and sometimes you just gotta add a little bit of spice to keep yourself engaged, you know? So yeah, consistency is bit by bit, not a whole lot of shit every single day. I balanced, kind of. Did you have a job in Year 12? How much did you balance work, exercise? I actually got a lot of questions like this, and a lot of you were like, how did you manage your social life with schooling? How much did you work? Guys, like, you're forgetting that I did Year 12 in lockdown. I did online learning for 21 weeks of last year. For me, I didn't have the problem of balancing social life with school and working out and blah, blah, blah. Really, the only thing I had to balance school with was getting out of bed in the morning, crying, watching Netflix. So I feel like I'm not too qualified to answer that question, but what I can draw upon is Year 11. So throughout Year 11 and the start of Year 12, I had 2 jobs. I worked most days of the week, and if I didn't work, I was at the gym that day. So essentially, I was doing something every single day. In Year 11, I copped a 40 despite that. And I went out most weekends of Year 11. There is a way, and sometimes it just is a matter of saying no. Like in Year 12, right? You're going to have 18ths. Hopefully, touch wood, you've got 18ths. You don't need to go to every single 18th. Go to the ones that you've got the time for, you think will be really great. You know, like, you don't need to go out every single weekend. Coming from me. Working out, like, if you think about it, right? How much time do you spend procrastinating to go work out versus working out? If you just spent all that procrastination time working out, you would have so much time to do your other shit. Prioritize. I've got Snapchats. I can probably find them and insert them up here. I used to work a hospitality job, and I would get like a half an hour break whenever I did close. And if I had a sack the next day, which often happened, I would literally be doing like questions and homework and stuff on my break. And people were like, what the hell is wrong with this chick? But I did it because I didn't have the time to do it elsewhere at another time, because I had to sleep. You got to squeeze it in. I balanced really well. Like at the start of year 12, I was getting all, like when I was going out and when I got my license and all that stuff, I literally was going out like non-stop and working. I was working a bunch at the start of year 12. Actually was still getting like A's. It's possible. You just have to prioritize. Was year 12 hard? Did you find there was much of a difference between year 11 and year 12? No. Year 11 is harder than year 12. Unpopular opinion. Year 11, everyone is shitty. Year 11, there's so much drama. Year 11 was a great year social wise. Like, I went out, I had formal, I had Deb, I was growing up, it was great. But I have never been so sad in my life and so lonely. It was the worst year of my life, probably. It wasn't even that bad, but it was probably the worst year of my life. Year 12, no one gives a shit. Year 12, everyone focuses on themselves. It's just like people mature. They just realize that doesn't matter, because in the end, in a few months' time, you're never going to see those people again. Year 11 is like year 12 on steroids. The only thing different about year 12 is that there's pressure in year 12. And if you don't let that pressure get to you, then you got nothing to worry about. So basically, to summarize, year 12 is so much better than year 11. The first few months of year 12 was literally like the best time of my life until COVID. 2020 would have been the best year of my life. How did you support yourself so you didn't burn out? I just knew when to stop. I think the point of the year that was really bad for me was around August. It was like when Victoria COVID cases were going up again. I like cried for like 4 days straight, literally. I just was a mess. Sometimes you just have to take a step back. You have to realize that one day is not going to be the difference between an 80 and a 98er. It's just not. Because you're going to get nothing out of studying if your brain is over there thinking about how much you hate life. My advice is that when you see yourself not focused and struggling and not motivated, just don't do it. That's my advice. Just take a step back, watch some Netflix, go for a walk, go to the gym, go to work, do whatever you have to do, and then come back, look at it with fresh eyes the next day. What were your average SAC scores? In bio, I was getting around, I'd say 70s. I got a 90 at some point, but I still did shit in bio. Yeah, I got around 70s for bio, 70s to 80s. For maths, I literally got really consistent. I got between 83 and 86 on all my SACs. For English, my highest was 100% and my lowest was 83%. So most of them, however, were high 80s to 90s. Legal, my lowest was 89 and my highest was 100. So, yeah. They were mostly A's. It's all in the exam. Advice on how not to freak out in exams. The best way to not freak out in an exam is to walk in and say, I have done everything I could have done. I know my shit. When you walk into an exam, they're not trying to trick you. They don't want you to not get the marks. They want you to get the marks. Like, walk in and say to yourself, I've got this. I've done what I can. I know my shit. Like, what are they going to do? Like, if you read it properly, there is no reason, and you've studied, there is no reason why you shouldn't get the marks, if that makes sense. So my advice is to walk in, be a boss bitch, and believe in yourself. It's the best way to not freak out in an exam. Did you write your notes or type them? Which was most beneficial to you? I cannot type my notes. My notes were all handwritten. Everything's in a book. Even in online learning, I wrote them all out. How did you utilize study periods? I had 8 study sessions a week. Essentially, for my double sessions, I would grind work. I would full smash out all my homework in my study sessions. Literally any essays I had to write, any paragraphs, any questions, little questions. You know, like textbook questions, they take up forever. I do that in homework, in study. Maths questions in study. Small things add up over time. So I just smash out all that tedious shit that you don't want to do. I just do that all in my study sessions. When you do, you know, like all those little things in your study sessions, you get to come home. One, you've got more spare time. Two, you can do extra work if you're bored. And that's what I used to do. So I used to do all my questions and like research, stuff like that at study sessions. When I come home, I do notes, I'd like read ahead, stuff like that. What ATAR did you think you were going to get? A 91. A Deakin ATAR calculator told me I'd get 94, but I didn't believe it. I thought that was too smart. How did you remember large amounts of content? It's not about remembering it. I think that is the difference between a student that does well throughout the whole thing, throughout the whole year consistently, and a student that does this. Because what I did was I would absorb the content, I would learn it, I would understand it. When I get to SAC revision and exam revision, you're just consolidating it. You're not learning it, because what people do is they muck around, they just bullshit it, copy, paste, Google, whatever. And then they get to the end and it's 2 days before the SAC and they realize they know nothing because they weren't paying attention the whole time. They were just mucking around. So whereas if you go, you learn the content, you understand it, by the time you get to revision, like, you know the content. Like, you'll be writing down your notes and you're like, oh my God. Like, I could be writing down about referendums and I'll be like, 8 out of 44 was successful. Like, I'll just remember that because I thought about referendums, you know? Like, it's just like little things like that. It's like Rear Window. Like, I could watch Rear Window now. I could watch Rear Window and I will remember, like, the shadows and lighting and all these little facts I learned about Rear Window in class. Not because I crammed it, but because I understood it. My tip is, do the learning. Did you actually study for 3 hours every night like we were told is needed? Absolutely not. No. I would go for, like, I do a lot of my, like, homework in study, and then at home I would just do whatever I felt like doing. Sometimes I would study for 30 minutes a day. Sometimes it'd be 8 hours. Like, literally, I didn't set myself a time. I didn't consciously say to myself, I need to do it for this long. I just do it till I got bored. That's what I do. And I'm the type of person that when I start something, I have to finish it. Like, I remember in online learning, my teacher had given us like a guidelines for legal, and I really did not want to have to do the work. So I do it all ahead. I did all my work ahead in online learning. I give myself like a 3-day weekend, and I would literally write all my notes out, and I had to do 5 chapters, and I was like, I'm not going to sleep till I finish all 5 chapters. So I did all 5 chapters at once. How many days before did you start to study for a test or SAC? I would give myself around a week and a half to 2 weeks, depending on the subject. But my thing was that I wanted to put equal effort into every subject. That was not all the time. For English, I would give myself plenty of time. And I feel like English, like, my teachers would always make us do paragraphs and stuff. So I feel like you're always revising for the SAC for English. But for maths, oh my God, I needed like 2 weeks. And I would do non-stop practice, give it to my teacher. Legal was the same. I would give myself a solid like 2 weeks just to revise. If I didn't have 2 weeks, I would probably die. For bio was cooked. I'd give myself like a week. I hated bio. It was my least favorite subject. I still tried, but I just hated it so much. Around about a week and a half to 2 weeks. Only because, like I said, you don't want to cram it, you want to learn it. That's my motto. Did you make a study timetable? Nope. Kind of. Okay. I have this little whiteboard, which I haven't updated since my birthday. It's like this whiteboard from Kmart. It was like $12. And this baby over here, I've probably got a photo somewhere. If I do, I'll put it here. I split it up. I'd put in times and things to do in session times. But generally, I just give myself a to-do list of things to do. And I would be like, yep, that's what I'm doing today. So basically, this is the end of this video. I will be posting a part 2 because there's so many questions and I want to help every single one of you. So if I didn't answer your question this time, most likely it will be answered next time, and if not, just DM me and I'll give you an answer, probably through a voice memo because I'm too lazy to type. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope that, you know, you got something out of it. I don't know if my advice was that good. I feel like I just talked nonstop for the last, like, fucking who knows how long. So yeah, and I hope you got something out of it. Keep your eyes peeled for my legal tips video and part 2 of this one. And yeah. Thank you so much for the love and the support. I really, really appreciate it.